It's now been 1 full year since I've decided to become a full-time realtor here in the greater Toronto area. Now, prior to that, I worked at Deloitte as a CPA, auditing financial institutions. I had left that to travel and photograph the world for a year, and I even worked as a full-stack software engineer in the startup space here in Toronto as well. You know, in my previous roles, I always felt super excited when just starting out. I would stay late, I would arrive early, but the same kind of problem happened after a few months or a few years. I would feel burnt out, I would start looking at the clock during work, and I just couldn't wait for the day to be over. But, sorry, that's my dog barking, he's excited too. But now in real estate, I'm now going into my second year and I'm more excited going into my second year than when I first started. And that's the first time in my professional career where that has happened. And I think one of the main reasons for that, at least for me, is if I did a good job working a typical corporate role, let's say in finance or software engineering or anywhere really, instead of being rewarded with more money for your effort, you would be rewarded with more work. So at Deloitte, that meant I would be rewarded with more clients. At software engineering, that would mean I would be rewarded with more tickets and features. So you would work hard, but your reward would be more work, not more pay, and slowly that kind of amplifies in your mind and you become less motivated. But something that I love in real estate is if you grind and you put in the work, you, not your brokerage, not your boss, not whatever, you get paid more. So as a result, I'm way more motivated because I get immediate feedback for my hard work. With that being said, this previous year, our first year in real estate, we were able to do 46 transactions, 2 buys, 1 lease listing, and 43 leases representing the tenant. Now, that's not including the first 2 months of the year where I was basically doing boot camp and not out in the field, but we were able to crush our first year annual commission goal, which is a fantastic start to this career. I couldn't be more happy. Now, if you were to ask me at the beginning of last year when I first started, what did you expect? I definitely would not have seen this coming. 46 transactions is insane. It was a grind all year long, essentially. But luckily, even as a solo agent, I have a great support team around me, whether that's at EXP, like my managing brokers, people who review the back end and the paperwork, sponsors, coaches, you know who you are who've helped me out. Special shout out to Callum Moore and Michael Buslavich at EXP Realty and Dixon Wong as well. And then I even have friends outside of EXP who have way more experience in the industry. Shout out to Owen Powers at Grindstone Realty. I mean, these folks are tremendous. When you're starting out, you need help, because you don't know anything. It doesn't matter what industry you are, whether you're going into Deloitte or software engineering or as a painter or whatever, you need help. So luckily, I have a fantastic support team around me that was able to guide me through my first year. Hopefully going into the future, I can pay some of that back to new agents coming into EXP. And now that I'm looking back at my last year, I probably could have made more money. I probably could have done more deals. I basically took all of October off to golf. And the last 2 weeks of December, I took off to go back home to Ottawa for Christmas. But that's okay. Life is not all about work, it's not all about money. And that's something that I was primarily looking for when I decided to join real estate, join this lovely industry. I wanted something where I could pull the lever of effort and I could be in control of how hard I worked and when I worked. And that is one of the, if not the greatest benefit of being self-employed and being a real estate agent. So what is it about then? It is about finding what you love to do. And real estate is not for everybody. I know a lot of people whose personalities wouldn't match with becoming a realtor. You are always running around, you're handling rejections, people's emotions. You're going weeks, months sometimes without getting paid. So it's really not for everybody. But for me, it was the perfect fit. Here's why. So I had traveled and photographed the world for a year, and honestly, back then when I was 24, 25, I thought about becoming a full-time photographer. Crazy, I know, but ultimately I didn't do it because I didn't think it made me enough money, and I like to do other things like golf or play tennis or travel, whatever. So I decided that full-time photography was not for me. But I still love photography. And as a realtor, I'm now shooting my own listings. I'm shooting listings for other realtors, and I get to incorporate something I love with my full-time job. That's number one. Another reason is you get to work in a 100% commission environment, and honestly, that's not for everybody, but for me, I knew it was the right thing. It keeps me disciplined and motivated, because if I don't get deals done, well, someone's got to pay the bill, and maybe Ashley will help for a couple months, but eventually she's gonna be like, Yuchi, come on. So for me, when I was working a salary role, it was like, I could kind of chill a little bit, get lazy, because I knew a paycheck was gonna come every Thursday. But now that I'm working on 100% commission role, I have to grind. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me motivated. And finally, one of the reasons why I love this role this year is perfect for me is because as a software engineer, I realized I was looking at the screen far too long, whether it was writing code on VS Code or taking all my meetings on Zoom. And I like to play video games too. So like after work, I would go on the screen. So all day my eyes would be on a screen, and I didn't like that. So I wanted something where I could interface with the real world, and that's real estate. I don't even know how many steps I did, how many showings I did. It's probably in the thousands in regards to showings, hundreds of thousands in regards to steps. I don't know, but I was out in the field a lot. My car alone, I put 16,000 kilometers on it this year, and it was only like for half the year because I got the car in May. So that was another thing that I was looking for, and that I got with this role. And now that I am 30, this is now my 4th career, I can say one thing comfortably to you, and that is, in my life, I have learned that the hardest thing is actually finding something that you enjoy doing and making that work. Once you've found what you love to do, the rest is easy. The rest, it becomes a game. Obstacles are seen as rewarding and challenging, like, a maze in a video game. Setbacks are a good thing because every no means, you're one step closer to a yes, right? And you are actually aligned in terms of your vision and your goals with what you're doing. Whereas before, maybe your company wanted this, but you want that, and then you're going this way, and eventually the relationship breaks. So this, for me, I took a leap of faith a year and a half ago. I considered taking real estate as a part-time gig while I continued working as a software engineer, but thank God I didn't and did this full-time. It was a huge risk and a huge leap of faith at the time, but man, I've already succeeded. It doesn't matter how much money I make, how many deals I do, because I've found something that I love to do. And if you're similar to me and you have similar needs, similar wants, then real estate might be for you too. But like I tell most people, it's not for everybody. As a matter of fact, it's probably not for most people. So with that being said, if you have any questions on becoming a realtor or you are already a realtor, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help. But that has been my 1 year in a nutshell. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.